Hey, welcome back to another episode of Open Shutter. Thanks everyone for joining us. YouTube, Spotify, Google, wherever you are watching this show. Thanks for taking the time. Gonna try to keep it short and tight tonight, but a huge thanks to Osroy at Frater Photography for joining us tonight. He is a Toronto-based photographer, and we're just going to chat about his work. And if you don't know what the show is about, I try to do this show every Wednesday and try to get someone on that's into photography, video, painting, whatever it is that you make. Love to have you on and kind of chat about your own journey, because I think for people that make stuff, I'll just speak from personal experience. Like sometimes it's easy to get in your own head, and listening to someone else talk about their process and their approach kind of gets you unstuck and kind of gets you inspired. So that's one reason why I kind of do this. And also it's fun just chatting with other people that kind of do what you do. So yeah, make sure you like this video, subscribe for future episodes. And we're on Instagram and Open Shutter YouTube. We're all over the internet, wherever all the information's in the link, and you can find it there. And yeah, I'll kick it over to Osroy. And for people that don't know who you are, maybe a quick intro about yourself.
Absolutely. My name's Osroy, last name Frater, and Frater Photography. Um, I've been into photography on and off throughout my life, I would say. Like I've had everything from disposables to the old
Yeah,
film style.
yeah,
Just had a itch for it for the longest, just needed to scratch.
yeah.
About uh, 2016, I would say,
Okay,
really got into well, backstory quick here. My wife, she got into professional photography.
okay.
And I'm like watching her side. I'm like, that's pretty cool. The itch came back a little bit.
Yeah,
Um, so when she's not doing her thing, I would mess around with her stuff, and she said to me, you have a really good eye, this, that, and the third. And she's like, a number of people have told me this in my time, not
yeah,
to
yeah, yeah.
brag or whatever, but
Oh, it's
I'm
good,
like,
man.
yeah, no, no, I don't. Are you kidding me? I'm
Or
just
but
messing around here, right?
yeah,
And the old itch came back, so I've started the Instagram a
yeah,
little bit after that, and it's basically me just shooting stuff I think that looks cool, right?
yeah,
In
yeah.
my
Which is
own
great.
mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just curious, what kind of photography does your wife do?
She has her hands in a couple of bags. She does mostly portraiture though.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
she started initially like the professional side. She started doing weddings,
Nice. Okay.
and she was working in a studio for a while, and then COVID hit. So
Yeah, 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 yeah,
uh, she's a bit of a freelancer now, more so than anything else, but
yeah.
mostly portraits though.
Yeah. Well, that's, I mean, that's the power of, I mean, of being surrounded by like-minded people, especially in your family or your spouse, your partner, or your wife. Like when you kind of like share that journey together, it kind of gets you inspired too, right? Because you kind of feed off that energy.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
Yeah. And
Um,
then, and again, like, you say that, oh, people say, oh, you have a good eye, and we're always our own worst critics, Like like it's, to me, it's like it's all very subjective. Like it's like, you know,
yeah.
like the great
Well, again, I,
thing.
I, I kind of I pride myself on being, humble, little bit of humility, whatever. I'm not out here like cracking codes and making all these big billboards and stuff, right? So
Yeah.
it is what it is. Like I don't think I'm the greatest, but I have, a little bit of talent. People can see and admire it. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But
Like,
to even go back a little bit in my story, this photography thing's kind of been chasing me.
yeah.
So like back in college, instead of going that route, I applied actually to I think Fanshawe,
Yeah.
their program, and they accepted me. And but because it was so far away, I was like, I can't be bothered. Do the
Yeah.
practical thing, get a job that's
Yeah.
gonna get you
Sure.
over or whatever. And
Sure.
I
Sure.
went the practical route, and here I am years later, still
Yeah.
chasing the
Full circle.
photography, right?
Full circle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always find it funny how people get into it and how they start, because like I started kind of like similar to when you started. I only started really like around like 2017, kind of like a little bit
Wow.
more serious. But before that, I'm just kind of like shooting stuff just because I wanted to shoot stuff. Kind of like what you said. It looks cool, so I'm going to shoot it, right? So
Exactly,
I always find it
exactly.
fascinating how people get started, and I always say the
Oh,
hardest part is just to keep going. It's hard to keep going,
yeah.
especially like nowadays. where it's-
Actually following you on
Yeah.
Instagram sort of
Mhm.
helped me keep, because I don't really want to say what I do by day, but it's the furthest thing from photography. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah. Yeah.
in telecom basically, and
Okay.
it's only three companies that could possibly be, but
Narrow it down. Yeah.
I'm not really promoting anyone, so
Sure.
that is
Sure.
what it is.
That's fine.
But yeah, so at work and stuff, it's like, oh, I can't bring my big DSLR camera with me at work. I'm not going to do that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you had a thing where you said just take half an hour a day. I believe that was you.
Yeah. A 30-minute
Take 30
challenge. The
30 minute
30-minute
challenge.
challenge.
So on my
Yes.
lunchtime and stuff, I would just,
You
here's
did
my
it.
phone in my hand, and I
Yeah.
would
That's all
just
you need.
walk along like Lakeshore or through the park, and just flowers, any little random thing I would take, right? And it helped me kind of develop sort of my style that I'm trying to go for.
Yeah.
And I haven't been able to do that much now because I'm not outside as much, but
Yeah.
I definitely, whenever I get out, I try to do something
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
point.
Well,
But
thanks
yeah,
for
back,
thanks
yeah,
for
absolutely, man,
You might be
absolutely.
the only
But
person that actually like listened to my advice, so thanks for
well,
that.
it helps, right? Like,
Yeah.
and
Well, it's a
it's
it's
like,
not even it's just to take your mind off stuff, man. Like
yeah,
it's basically
and
free
it's
therapy.
for me, it's like any and I've learned this the hard way because there's talent. They said what is it? Youth is wasted on the young.
Yeah,
I think talent is as well, because
sure.
when I was like high school, there's like umpteenth number of things. Like I was drawing, I was painting, I was doing all this artistic stuff. I even
Mhm.
had, for the longest time, music I was trying to get into, and
Yeah.
everybody wanted to be a rock band, rapper, whatever,
Oh,
right?
yeah. Of course.
And I didn't do any of that. Ended up where I
Didn't do
am,
any of that.
and it's like a talent on nurture just goes away, right?
Yeah.
So with
100%.
the photography thing, if you don't do it enough, it eventually, like, let's say I stop doing this now for like the next 2 years.
Sure.
When 2 years later I go to try and do it, I
Yeah.
might be my hands are more shaky now, whatever,
Yeah.
things happen that
You
you
lose it.
can't. Yeah, exactly. Like
We're
if
like
I try to
we're like athletes,
draw
man.
now,
We're like
my
athletes.
hands my hands like start to hurt after a while, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, I can't be bothered. I put the pencil down,
It's
right?
true though. It's true.
So
Um,
yeah.
Especially when you first start, because like I'll just speak from personal experience, but when I was growing up, I didn't know anyone that was into photography. Like I was also very creative too, right? I like writing, I
Mhm.
like drawing, I like taking photos, but I didn't have any friends or family that like supported me.
Mhm.
So I didn't pursue it because no one was encouraging me. When you're a kid, you don't know. You just kind of listen to your parents and move on, right? So um
And that too, because again, with my story, it was sort of that you're never gonna make money doing,
yeah, of course,
you know,
it's not a real job.
drawing
It's not a real
pictures. You're never
job.
gonna make money
Yeah, it's not a
taking
real job.
photographs. Go
It's
get
not a
a
job.
job, become
Get
a
a job.
cop, become a nurse, go
Yeah,
do something practical.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
I find that parental voice. That's why I'm very careful now having children
yeah,
with the things I tell them they can and can't do, because
yeah,
that voice, when they say you're like Superman to your
yeah,
kids, that's a real thing. Because my parents were that, and if they were like, "Oh, you're never going to be a doctor," then I would be like, "Yeah, they're
yeah,
probably right. I'm just gonna
yeah,
go work at the local whatever, and
yeah,
stay in town, right?"
yeah.
And it wasn't that bad for me. It was just like, do you really think you can make a lucrative career out of, like, these are the conversations we
Of
had,
course, of
out
course.
of your
I have the
art?
exact same ones. Yeah,
And it's like, well, yeah, I probably won't be able to, buy a house and
yeah,
buy a car, take care of my wife and kids when they come, which at 18 I didn't have these things, but
yeah, yeah,
you know, so let me go work for the local big three or whatever, right?
yeah.
Because that's sensible.
That's
And
what's done. That's what's been done.
that's kind of what ends up happening. ended up happening to me, but at the same time, where there's will, there's way, where there's
Yeah,
life, there's possibility, right?
yeah.
So I never give up on any dream per se. It's just
Mm.
I wait
Timing,
on the
timing is
timing now,
important.
right?
Yeah, timing is
Yeah,
important.
exactly,
Timing is
man.
totally important
Exactly.
because even if you look, you know, 10 years ago, jobs
Mm,
in photography and video and all the creative economy, it's a totally different world now in
yeah,
2023 compared to 2013. Like
yeah,
there's just so much more opportunity now in terms of like getting paid work.
exactly. Exactly.
So timing is so critical too in terms of like what can you do for people and where can you post it where people are going to watch it, because 10 years ago there was no, I mean, maybe there was Instagram, but not to this level, so
It's so funny because I actually did this recently. I went back and looked at, like, I Googled Instagram because I'm
yeah,
like, it feels like I was blown away by this actually. Like my son is the same age. He's younger than Instagram, and
yeah,
he'll never know a time when there wasn't
yeah, exactly,
Instagram. And
exactly,
that's my oldest kid. So
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
went back and I'm like, when did Instagram start? And it started
yeah.
what, 2011?
2011, yeah,
May
probably
Maybe
2010,
2012. Yeah,
yeah,
20 somewhere is about
yeah,
like
yeah,
back then. And I'm like, my son was born 2012,
mhm,
which means all he'll it's like when we were born, what was around, right?
exactly,
And I can speak for myself because I was born in the 80s. And
yeah,
I came up with G.I. Joe, all the 80s stuff, right? And I don't know a time without Barbie and G.I. Joe.
yeah.
So it's unfathomable for me when someone can say, "Oh, I used to play with the hula hoop, and that was the greatest toy ever." Like, you don't know GI Joe, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So it's gonna be for them
yeah,
growing up. It's gonna be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you don't have TikTok. What
I
was
know.
life like without TikTok? It's
No, I
like
know, but
I
it is like that now, though. But that's
yeah,
what it is. It's every
exactly.
kid has a phone. Like, every
Yeah,
kid has a phone. If you
that's
don't have a phone, I can't imagine you're probably picked on in school or something, so, like, I have no idea.
well, not necessarily picked on. You just you
Yeah,
become more aware that you're missing out on
right, you're
things.
missing something.
Because like for my kids, they don't have phones. Like
Yeah,
they're not teenagers or anything.
okay,
So, and we still are very much, we pick them up, drop them off, and all of
great.
that.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, and they come home and they're like, who can I say? Like Ice Spice. Who's Ice Spice, mommy? Who's Ice Spice, daddy? I'm
yeah,
like, I don't know who that is. Like, oh, all the kids in class, they're talking about this person or that
yeah,
person. And
yeah.
I'm like, wow, how do
Mm,
they know about all these people? Oh, they're on the phone and
you're
they're
on the
on
phone.
their this and they're on their. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
by
it's a different world,
another
man.
year, it's gonna be, can we get this? Can we get that? We need a phone.
And what are you gonna do?
Um,
What are
for
you gonna
me, I, I don't believe that a child that's under teenage
Yeah, I should have a phone.
should have access to like a cell phone.
Yeah,
And of course, you want to be as guarded as possible because there's a lot of stuff that
yeah, of
obviously you don't want your kids
course.
exposed to too young. If
Yeah,
they're 18 or whatever, they can do what they want.
yeah,
But under my roof, it might sound a little cliche, but under my roof, it's gonna
yeah,
be. Um, I heard this somewhere? Someone once said that they have no problem, and I sort of adopted the same idea. I have no problem with them having the devices
yeah.
under the pretext. I think it was a comedian or someone. He's like, under the condition that at any given moment, I can
Mhm,
say, hand it here, and you
mm.
hand it over.
Oh, and they see
You
it and
don't go clean it up. You don't. If I come in through the door and I say, give me your iPad, give me your phone, and you
oh, jeez.
hesitate, you
Oh,
lose it.
jeez. Oh, boy.
That I think would be my ground rule,
Got it.
because then you're sort of giving them that idea that this thing better be clean. If I
Yeah,
look through it and there's anything that's not above board,
yeah, yeah,
obviously we would discuss and go in detail with that as far as what those conditions would be. But
yeah,
keep it clean or you lose it. That would be my
yeah.
big
That's
caveat,
fair.
right?
That's fair.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah. No, it's just a different world in terms of just like content being able to be accessed anywhere at all times. So
It's crazy to me, man.
there's just so much. Like, they're
I
just so much.
um I have a pretty big family,
Yeah,
and the generation goes back pretty. Like my grandma is almost in her 90s now,
yeah,
and it's a trip for me to see her like use video calling like what we're doing now.
yeah, yeah.
Her eyes like light up, and she's like,
Nice.
"Is that so and so? Oh my gosh!" And she can see like she's in Canada where it's cold and snowy, and she can
Yeah,
video chat with like old friends in the old country back home, and
yeah. Nice,
it's warm and sunny there, and they're like, "Oh, look at the beach and look at the this," and you know,
nice.
it's like
Yeah,
we live in a time where like
it's a
you and
great
I,
time.
how old are you? I'm sorry, I keep saying you and I, but
36.
yeah, I'm 40. So we
Yeah,
we both kind of came up in a time
yeah,
where
summertime.
where even you had to get up and power on the TV.
Yeah,
You were the remote essentially
yeah,
for
yeah,
a good 10 years at
yeah,
least, right?
yeah.
Or I come from where you had to click the two channels. It was just two channels. Oh, sports is
Those are the
finished,
days.
put
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the news. And it's,
yeah, 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 yeah.
now it's like if the remote's missing, it's a crisis in the house.
Big problem, man. It's
Yeah.
a big problem. No, it's yeah, like I always say, like it's just funny how like things come full circle in terms of like what you're really curious about, right? Because somehow it always finds a way back, and you always get like another chance at kind of following that interest,
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
which is good because I think you have to, like we said earlier, it's all about timing, and you just have to be kind of like aware of like I always say like people say follow your passion, which is true, yes, but I also find that if you don't know what you're passionate about, you should also just follow what you're curious about because that could lead into so many different ways.
Oh yeah,
Right?
no
Like
doubt,
life
no
is never
doubt.
like a straight line. Like I know my passion, I'm gonna follow it, and it's gonna end from A to B. Like it's never so clean like that.
Yeah, and
You know?
it's funny because in preparation for our conversation here,
Yeah.
I actually went and I watched a couple of years. I'm like, what the hell have I gotten myself into? I don't know what
Yeah.
this is about or whatever. Because I never really watched I was aware of it because I follow you, but
Yeah.
I never really dabbled into what it was. It was just sort of on the outline. I'm like, let me check out this open shut. And I
Yeah.
watched a couple episodes, and you say a couple of times like um that once you start doing this for like money,
Yeah.
then it becomes like I have a job. And the way I look at that job, I don't think I would want to look at photography in that way. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
It becomes different.
Because
It becomes different.
it's like for my day job,
Yeah.
I start at 8, I finish at 4:30,
Sure.
and I shut it down, and that whole you punch a clock, you leave whatever the crane in the sky, and
Yeah.
you boom, you're it's quitting time.
Yeah.
I don't think I would want to stop doing this in that sense where it's like, oh my God, I just did whatever, a wedding and it's exhausting. I mean, throw my camera in the corner and just go drink a beer, right?
Hmm.
I don't want that to be so
Yeah.
I'm really,
It becomes work. It
yeah,
becomes work.
exactly. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying I wouldn't do it professionally. Obviously, if your passion becomes your profession, it's sort of marrying the two a little bit. But
Yeah.
if it became like that for me, like it
Yeah.
was
Talking. Yeah.
tedium or mundane or just like, oh my God, another
No.
job, I would not. I
Yeah.
don't know
That's
what I
why
would do.
that's why so many people quit because
Mm,
sometimes you think the grass is always greener on the other side if you want to make your passion your full-time job.
mm,
But you don't sometimes people don't really know what's involved and what you're willing to like give up and sacrifice to actually make that happen because to me it's like if you want to like work for yourself, you're
yeah,
actually working more than working a 9 to 5.
absolutely. Well,
Like
it,
people
it
don't
never
understand that.
it never stops, right?
You're working like crazy hours because you're dependent on yourself. Like you're accountable to yourself.
Exactly. Well,
There is no
and that too. Like if you're your own boss, basically you don't. Um, there's a song that one of my musical people that I love. rap group Outkast,
Yeah.
and one of their lines is, "If you don't move your feet, then I don't eat." And
Yeah.
it's sort of like, well, this is my job too, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
So
Of course.
if it's not like and I kind of apply that to if I was a photographer, if I had my own business, if
Yeah.
I don't do whatever that business is, then money's not coming in. I can always go to work and they got to pay me because
Yeah.
I'm going to work. But
Exactly.
if it's now like if my camera stops clicking and
That's
that's
it.
my bread that I'm making, like
Yeah, you're screwed.
I'm not I'm not making bread, right?
Yeah, no,
So
it's yeah, I mean, I like the great thing about like photography is that like you don't need to make money. Like you can still keep it like just a fun hobby. Like I think there's always this kind of pressure too where you see
mhm.
on social media it's like side hustle this and side hustle that. It's like, well, you don't have to do that if you don't want to do that.
Exactly.
You don't
Well,
have to.
you know what? I think the narrative is sort of, especially now. I think we're in that time because you came up in the similar era as me. You probably
Yeah,
heard this back in like the late '90s, early 2000s.
sure.
There's some theory that went around saying at some point in history, everyone's going to be famous for 15 minutes.
Yeah, yeah,
And I think we're living in that era now where
yeah,
everyone is not only that everyone's capable of doing that, everyone's chasing it. It's like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah,
I'm going to put a glass on the floor so someone trips so I can get a viral hit.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And it's like, well, you're going to kill somebody so you can go viral? And people
yeah,
are not thinking like that, but that's what they're chasing after. It's this,
yeah,
I don't even want to call it clout, but the idea that if I like just capture a moment in time,
yeah,
it could go boom and blow up, and now I'm famous for this
yeah,
moment in time.
yeah.
Right?
It could
And
happen.
well,
I also find that like I'll just speak from personal experience, but like whenever I try to like chase something or try to make something happen, it never happens.
exactly.
Like you just wait for it to
I
like
learned
it
that lesson
never
um,
happens.
from my personal experience. I learned that lesson chasing women,
Yeah,
girls.
same. When you're
Back,
trying to like get a date, when you're
oh
trying to
my
it
gosh,
never happens, man. It never
back
happens.
in the those awkward when you're teenager becoming a man and you're just
Yeah,
oh girls, 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 girls.
yeah. Never happens,
It's
bro.
like they can smell
Yeah,
you're that's what you're after, and they're like,
yeah,
nah. Once you're like, you know what, I'm going to do what I'm doing, and if it happens, it happens. And
yeah,
now you're more interesting. Now
yeah.
they're,
You gotta play
oh,
like,
who's
"I'm
this
happy."
guy?
You gotta play the
Yeah,
cool guy, man.
exactly.
You gotta play the cool guy. Like, it always like, something always falls whenever you least expect it, like a
Yeah,
job, a
that's
you
true.
relationship, like something big. Oh, it's like, "Oh, I never saw that coming." Just I don't know, that's just the way life works. It's weird, but that's just the way it
Well,
works.
it's the old adage, right? Man plans, God laughs, right?
Yeah,
You could
exactly. That's the exact
you're
same thing.
always, oh my gosh, I got a plan, got to do this, got to do this, got
Yeah,
to do this,
I
and
know,
it's like
I know.
you're throwing everything at the wall to see if something sticks,
Yeah,
and it's when you turn your back,
yeah.
something just throws
Totally.
itself at the wall and sticks.
Well, it's yeah, it's true. I think,
Yeah.
yeah, because 'cause we're all trying to, like, chase, like, as you said, like, that social clout because we always wanna get big on Instagram or whatever the thing is, and
Mm,
I don't know, to me, it's like if I had, like, 1,000,000 followers on Instagram, like, what would I do with that? Like, what am I even gonna do with 1,000,000? Like, how am I gonna, like
yeah,
you need to
I,
also think of that side of the angle too, right?
yeah. It's crazy, man. Back in high school, they always said I live my life by cliches. So
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure I've said a couple of them already.
yeah,
But to me, it's the old if you really want to know the strength of your character, look
yeah,
at power, right?
yeah,
And a million followers, whether people know this or not.
yeah,
If a million people are interested in what you're doing,
mhm.
that's some kind of power.
Oh, it's power.
And that's why they call it influencer, right?
Yeah,
You could literally say this coffee is trash.
yeah,
Never go back to Starbucks. And it might not globally affect Starbucks, but if
yeah.
those million people live in your city, Starbucks will suffer. in that
Oh,
city
yeah. Oh, yeah.
or town or wherever, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Yeah, people listen to people on social media, and,
yeah.
that's just the way it works, right? So,
Well, and
uh
yeah, go ahead.
no, I
Sorry.
was go ahead.
Now, I was gonna say it's like the microcosm of high school is
Yeah,
just blown up where
yeah,
it's like in high
exactly.
school everyone wants to follow the cool kid. And now you
The
have
cool guys.
millions of
Yeah, of
cool
course.
kids and everyone's following them, you know, and doing what
Yeah,
they do,
that's
eating what they eat and
oh,
so
yeah.
on and so forth.
Yeah, that's just the way the world works. I was gonna show your Instagram, if that's okay.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
And,
not a problem.
yeah, I think it's you got to like your wife said, you have a good eye, man, so,
Yeah.
to me,
Well,
it's
I
so
I
everyone go
try.
follow Frater Photography 416. I assume the 416 is the Toronto area code?
Yes. Well, yeah. You know what? It actually came, there's a story behind that. I
Okay,
put the
that's okay.
416
Yeah,
because like I said, my wife, she's the one that does the photography and the idea was we are going to be well, she was going to start Frater Photography, just
yeah,
unlimited or whatever, right?
yeah,
And I'm like, well, she's not on social media like that. Let me do one for myself. It'll be my like my own little pet project, but I don't want to just jack that name from her.
mhm,
So at the time, the whole 416 with the 6IX, I think that's
yeah,
originally how I had it. I might have changed that over the time. That was the thing, and I was like, yeah, that looks cool. Let me do it and
yeah,
see where I can go. Maybe I'll go viral. And
yeah.
here I am today, right?
Cool story, man.
Yeah.
Um, no, it's good, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
so are there any photos that stand out to you that kind of mean something to you or that you kind of want to touch on?
Um, I'm really, really proud,
Hmm.
particularly of like the graffiti stuff I did. I know it's like photos of other people art, but
Yeah,
it's something about, and you've probably been there yourself,
this is Dundas West,
graffiti,
yeah, Graffiti Alley
the
area.
graffiti alley, the underpass.
Yeah, great spots.
Yeah, they're just there's something about that. Like I guess it's the hip hop head in me that kind
Hmm.
of draws towards that. But I like
Yeah,
the sort of the breathing of the city that those kind of
yeah,
I don't really like what they've done with the what is her name? The geisha.
yeah,
That building, it's sort of I don't know if you've been down there recently, but they've quartered off that area. They're like building something around it. So that's
yeah.
probably going to be gone pretty soon.
There's always
The
something going up. There's always something going up in
Yeah,
the city that's ruins photography.
yeah,
Fortunate.
yeah. But
Do you have a favorite photo from like Graffiti Alley, or do you have a favorite photo from?
I would think the not that one that's there now, but the color geisha from Graffiti Alley
Okay,
is pretty nice. And the dog. I like the dog a lot.
okay.
So we scroll
Yeah,
down.
yeah, yeah. Big
Um,
pumpkin.
yeah. I
There's
might have taken it down actually.
yeah,
Yeah. It should be here, I'm pretty sure. There's the dog.
yeah.
That's the
It's my
pup.
dog.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
really like that. Um,
that's cool, man. Dig that.
yeah,
So you like shooting more in
absolutely.
black and white or in color?
Uh, I actually I shoot mostly in color, but I mess around with what is it, Lightroom, and
Yeah.
I tend to favor black and white settings in
Yeah.
Lightroom more
It's a different
so
mood,
than
right?
yeah, yeah.
It's a different mood. Trying some product photography here.
Yeah. Well, it was just sitting on the thing, and I was like, why not?
That's good.
And I took
You're using the bench for like a leading line. That's good.
it. Yeah,
There's leading lines everywhere. I tell everyone there's leading lines everywhere. You just gotta look for
ab-
it.
absolutely.
Um,
Um,
ah,
let's see. The bridge. I'm a big fan of the
the
Humber
bridge. Yeah, it's
Bay.
a great spot, man.
Yeah, that I tried to get it from as many angles as I could.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it in not on Instagram, but in my like personal folders and stuff, there's a lot of the bridge. I'm like,
Nice.
why am I taking so many of this bridge?
It's all you. It's a great spot
So
for sunrise too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
a good spot for sunrise.
I don't get to do sunrise or sunset as much as I would like to,
Yeah.
but
Oh, I
yeah,
love those.
they're pretty
I love
fun.
those photos. Good.
Yeah, yeah, I like
I
that
like
one
that a
too.
lot. Just the way the
Yeah,
shadows come on. Man,
yeah,
that's nice. July 7th,
yeah,
2019. That's pre-COVID. Okay. It's a
yeah.
different world, a different
I,
time.
I know, right? I actually would have loved to have gotten out during COVID when
Yeah.
like these places were like barren and
So I was just saying that last week on last week's show
yeah,
how like it's also like it's cool to like document either your life or like your family or what's going on around your neighborhood, but especially during COVID, man, like such
yeah.
a crazy time that
Just a side note here. I've always wanted to do like downtown, like middle of the road, just a shot of any of the major streets.
yeah,
It's just something I had in my mind to do, but when downtown is downtowning, I guess
yep,
I could call it that. But when it's
yeah,
busy,
yeah, yeah,
it's near impossible to do something like
yeah,
that without
without
half
getting hit.
killing yourself,
Yeah,
right?
it's not worth it.
So I always thought, now would be a great time, and I would be
Mhm.
nagging my wife to let's just leave
Yeah,
them with their grandparents and go do it.
yeah,
And she's like,
yeah, no
you're
way.
stupid. Stay home, whatever.
Yeah,
It's COVID outside. What are you trying to
yeah,
do?
well, gotta wear masks, blah blah blah. No, it's yeah, I don't know. Just like to me, it's like it's like not now, but like in 5, 10, 20 years, you can look back on those photos and say, man, like it kind
Hmm.
of brings back
Yeah.
memories, right? So
Well, and I kind of use my Instagram as that. It's sort
of
of like a
course,
time capsule of
exactly,
this
exactly,
is where we were, this is what was going on, and
exactly.
you
I
know,
like that shot too.
this is
I like that.
yeah,
It's
oh yeah, yeah.
I like that.
Um, when was that one taken?
July 7th,
Posted, I should say,
July 7th, 2019.
2019. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think this is when I was like, I'm gonna do it like Paul, 30 minutes, and running around with
Yeah,
my
you're
a
doing
lot of
it.
funny thing is a lot of these were done excuse me on my cell phone,
Yep.
which always bothered me because
Yeah.
I have access to all these other cameras, these better cameras or whatever, but
Yeah.
again, I'm not going to take a camera that I paid X thousands of dollars for
Yeah.
to, you know,
Oh, I think we lost. Oh, he's back. We
sorry about
lost you, man.
sticky fingers.
Ah, no worries.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
hit
you're
the
saying about the
yeah.
phone? Yeah.
Yeah, so the easiest access I have to do these things, and I just happen to be in possession of one of the better quality phones, I guess, for
Yeah, of
taking pictures.
course.
Um, so I make use of that because it's like, again, I'm not bringing my equipment and running
Yeah,
around, right? So if I see something that's like, hey, that's a nice angle, I'll snap
yeah,
it with the hopes of maybe going back with the proper stuff at some point. So a
yeah,
lot of what I do is like, um, well, obviously maybe not this picture in particular, but like the sites I go to,
yeah.
it's like scouting too for the misses, right?
Right,
Because then
right.
she'll be like, "Oh my gosh, where is this? I didn't know this was in Toronto." I'm like,
Mhm.
"Yeah, you should probably take some of your people there and da da
Yeah,
da da da."
yeah,
And it works sort of hand in hand, right?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, people always ask me, like, "What gear should I get?" Well, whatever camera you have on you, if it's just your phone.
Yeah,
Because, don't spend money until you really know first of all, with
ex-
gear, like, ask yourself, do you need it or do you want it? Two very separate
exactly,
questions. And then from
exactly.
there, you can decipher if you actually need it because, I also have, gear acquisition syndrome, and we all like toys, but if you're not careful,
Yeah, you know what? If I get into that, it'll become a because I'm a bit of a I don't want to say addict, but I
yeah,
collect things.
yeah,
So when I was in grade school, like middle school, high school, I collected comic books,
Oh, nice.
and that was that was my thing. Like every week on the week, I at one point had between X-Men and Spider-Man, I had about 1,000 comic books.
Yeah, you still have.
Yeah, they're kicking about. I've given about half of the collection away to friends, like to one friend in particular. But
Yeah,
the stuff I think might be worth something, I have them in the stash somewhere in the house, right?
yeah, 1,000.
Yeah, it was a problem
It
till
was a
my mom my mom was like,
problem.
"You're not getting any more money. You don't work, and you're just taking your money buying this stuff, right?" She didn't
Yeah,
say stuff, but
yeah, yeah,
trying to keep it PG.
yeah.
And then after that, it became video games,
Mm,
and then that became just I had to have the newest game, the newest game, the newest game. I was at the
yeah,
video game store
yeah,
twice
yeah.
a month at least until my early 20s.
Oh,
And then it became music, and then music lasted pretty much longer than anything else because I was always of the mindset that if I like the music, I should support the artist, right?
sure. Yeah, of
So
course, of
I
course.
bought a lot of music that I probably shouldn't have, but supporting the artist
Support the
and
artist. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Well, it's better than
and
downloading illegally.
well, the artist would definitely say that, right?
Well,
It's more affordable to go the other route, but
of course.
you know what? It's I again I wanted to be a musician, and
Yeah,
I find a little bit of a kinship with that mindset that like if I was gonna put my entire heart and soul into a project, I don't think I'd want people just jacking me
of
off of
course.
a free
Of
website.
course. Well, it's like people stealing our photos, man.
Exactly,
Same
exactly.
thing. It's the exact same thing.
That's true.
Yeah. I also like this
Uh,
photo too. I like this photo a lot with the bench.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
Nice.
It's funny because I was actually um more interested in getting the buildings, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, you know what? This
The
looks
bench, man.
like a nice. Let me get the bench in it
Yeah.
too.
It just gives the photo a little bit of scale too
Yeah,
when you ever have something in the foreground. And I just like how there's no one on the bench. Like it's empty.
yeah.
It's cool.
Which, funny enough, that actually happened like maybe 30 seconds before I took the
Of
picture.
course. It's all
'Cause,
timing, man. It's all especially with like street photography, it's all timing.
yeah, and I'm not a fan of trying to because you could get into a lot of uncomfortable
You
um,
could, yeah.
with
Good.
people like, oh, what the hell are you doing? That's and again,
Yeah.
that's why I don't. Yeah, there she is. That's the before they put all the scaffolding. Oh, this thing.
That's you rocking your stuff.
Yeah, I was trying to make a cool image that I thought could go on like a card or something,
Yeah.
on like a business card.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
I actually am wearing company uniform here, so
Yeah.
where my hand is, that's
You
where
have your
the
logo.
yeah. So
Oh, you gotta do it. You can't you can't do that. Yeah, of course. Of
yeah, I
course.
don't really want to be,
Of course.
and they have rules against that, right? That's why
I
I'm
bet.
not gonna
I
say,
bet.
oh, I work for.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
No,
not
it's
a
cool,
bad
man.
company, but like state and church, right?
I agree with that for sure, man.
You keep them
Cool
separate.
photo. I like how it's kind of mysterious.
Yeah,
And there's your geisha.
yeah. This again before they put up all the walls and
Yeah, yeah.
scaffolding and stuff over it. Um, I didn't intentionally like I never did anything to this photo, which is kind of what blows my mind. It's like that's the color as
I
the
know.
artist threw it up on the wall,
I
right?
know.
And to me, that's a talent. Yeah,
100%.
I can take a picture of it from any angle and
Yeah,
what have
100%.
you, but whoever did this, they did an outstanding job.
Crazy, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. There's some talented people in the city.
yeah,
Some talented people, man. It's great. It's great.
absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. Shout out.
Yep.
Oh, I like this one a lot. Nice.
Mhm.
Is
Oh,
this for the parade?
yeah, yeah.
So were you at the parade?
No, no, I wasn't. I wasn't. I just happened to be down there like maybe
Nice.
after, and it was quiet enough, and I was like, yeah, let me do
That's great. Love it.
it.
I like that a lot. That's a good one. Because I don't think I've actually ever seen that before either. So
I know.
no, I don't think so.
Mhm.
Nice. Where was this shot from? CN Tower?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the same tower.
Nice. You got some good views up there when there's no when you can actually
Yeah.
see the skyline and stuff.
Well, it was actually cloudy that day too, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it was happening to be like there's not
yeah.
too much.
This is a great spot.
Yeah.
This spot
Uh,
always delivers.
yeah. And it's not easy to get there when there's like no one inside, right? I think I was here on a Sunday evening.
Yeah,
It just happened to be like at the quietest time
yeah.
inside there.
No, it's a and I like how you shot it black and white too.
Yeah, yeah.
100% has to be black and white. Did you go to the steps across and shoot from the other side?
I think I was at the top of the escalator here. I
Yeah.
want to say, yeah. So what actually happened was I was going up the escalator and I turned around and looked back and I'm like, wow, I have to do something with that, right?
Got it. Mandatory.
And
It's mandatory, man.
it took me a couple of tries because then I started doing the old walking down the steps to
Yeah.
kind of line it up and thing. And this I was playing
Killer,
around in Lightroom. I think I
killer.
lowered the. But yeah, you actually put me onto this place
This
because
one?
I think the first picture I've ever seen of the arches
Yeah.
was on your Instagram.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Where
this
is
spot
that?
always delivers, man. Always delivers.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool um, indoor photography can get done here.
Oh, you
Like,
get some really cool shots, 100%. I've seen people do like portrait shoots and
yeah,
you just gotta be careful with like security because sometimes if you
yeah.
get the wrong guard, they'll just kick you out. And sometimes they'll just let you shoot. Depends on
Well,
how hard you
I
get.
find if you're in and out, they won't really bother
Yeah.
you. It's when you start to linger and
Set up lights.
exactly
What the
so called do too much, right?
Yeah.
And who knows what that is? Like you said, if it's the wrong security, you could just he has a camera, you
He's
gotta
got
go,
camera,
buddy.
kick him out.
And
Happens all the time,
then
man. Happens all the
other
time.
guys are probably just like, whatever. As long as he's not bothering people,
Yeah,
let them do what they're doing, right?
100%. But yeah, Brookfield for sure, always a great spot. Love
Yeah.
that. Love that. Nice, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, nice one.
Actually, you know which
Yeah. Well, that's very it's kinda like
um
today.
yeah, it is. It is. I like to try to get snowy days, but I'm never out
Oh, are you
when
cutting out?
it's like oh, can you hear me? Hello?
Oh, did we cut out? Oh, we're cutting out? I don't know what's happening. Maybe he's coming back.
Can you hear me? Nope. Oh jeez. Ew. Oh. Oh jeez.
Alright, we're back.
We're back.
We are back.
Okay.
Excellent. I
You can hear me now?
can hear you, bud.
Okay. Yeah. What was I saying?
We're talking about this shot here.
Oh, right. Yeah. So yeah, I'm never out when I would actually want to do one where it's like actually snowing. And
Yeah,
I,
well,
I always
that was
yeah. Well, I had to work, right? But Yeah, I never get it when it's like that good because
Yeah,
I always it's either before the snow or after the snow,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, that's great. I
usually,
like how you got this like
yeah,
kind of like in
yeah,
a row, like symmetrical. Cool.
yeah. Well, I try to line
That's
things up as best I can, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah.
there's actually a picture you passed. I'm
Yeah.
particularly proud of that one. It's I
Okay.
think it's the Virgin Mary, and I'll tell you why
Okay.
I'm pretty sure this is the case. I'm not. I want to say this was behind glass. I'm not entirely sure now that I think of it, but just the fact that I this is the first time I ever tried to take a picture of something like this,
Yeah.
and for me, I like the way the shadows and the light kind of fell on it,
Um,
right? So I
yeah.
was like, wow, it's one of the few pictures I see. I'm like, I took that. I kind of pat
Yeah.
myself on the back a little
Is it
bit,
this one?
right?
Is it this? Is it this one?
Yeah, it's that one.
Is it this?
Yeah, yeah, that's the one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So
So
you shot that through glass?
I think so. I'm not entirely sure now that I think about it, but
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it's not even a big sculpture, right?
yeah,
So I don't think they would have it just unless it's super heavy, just sitting on a thing, right?
yeah, yeah. Oh, cool,
Yeah,
man. Well, shout out to the ROM.
yeah, yeah. It's a
Great
pretty
place.
neat place.
Yeah,
Yeah,
ROM's a great place. Also, inside of the AGO is a great place to shoot.
yeah.
The staircase is pretty phenomenal. No, you got a good eye,
AGM.
man. Like it's really like it's good. Like you just gotta keep going, right? The hardest part.
Yeah, that's where I'm at now. I want to sort of I'm of the mind that I don't really like looking at my old work, so I'm looking for new stuff to
Yeah,
do
yeah.
and
What do
um
you like? What are you trying to do like this winter?
well, I wanted to do the light trails, but
Mm,
I think those are coming to an end. Maybe more downtown stuff. I really wanted to go to Distillery
yeah,
this year.
yeah,
And I might end up going down there doing some stuff, but
yeah. I got some
like
good
it's
people shots.
again, yeah, it's about the timing though, right? Like I
Oh,
don't
for
live downtown, so
yeah,
it's a bit of a drive, and
yeah,
it's got to be for more than just to go point the camera, right?
yeah, yeah.
So
Me, I guess you need some more. You need more of a plan, I guess, eh?
exactly.
Well, it's good. You just, I mean, especially now, like it's just important just to like kind of keep, especially during the winter, like just being able to like just pick up the camera and do something because it's hard sometimes because it sucks outside and it's like I just want to stay inside. So
Yeah. Well, and that too, like um if it's like this outside and it's
yeah,
on me to go, I'm going to opt to stay in, right?
yeah,
Just
of course, of course, of
because
course. Of
it's
course,
not
all of us.
fun,
No,
not
it's not
fun.
fun. I'd rather be in like
And
Hawaii on a beach somewhere. Put me there.
uh, yeah, I always I joke, but it's like, well, why did they bring me here when? Because
I know.
I migrated when I was what 13, 12
Yeah,
turning 13, right? And it's like they dragged me into this. I would have never came by
yeah,
choice. It's like,
yeah,
well,
yeah,
I probably would have, but it's a nice out. I didn't choose to come here.
yeah,
I'm from a warm country.
yeah. Which
So,
which which which, which country?
Jamaica. I'm from
Beautiful,
Jamaica.
man.
Yeah.
Love it. Never been, but I like to go.
Oh, if you ever get the chance, definitely do. It's good
Yeah,
pictures there too, man. You'd have a
I'm having a
great
good
old
time down
time
there.
with that. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah. I need to.
Absolutely.
It's on the list.
Yeah.
It's on the
Well,
list.
I actually would love to. I seen you were in you were across the pond recently, right?
In London. Yeah, I was in London over the
Yeah.
holidays. Yeah,
Yeah.
crazy place
I'd
to shoot, man.
oh yeah.
And no one
Just
like no one bothers you.
oh no?
No one bothers you.
Ah,
You just shoot.
nice.
I had my full
Yeah.
gear set up and
Wow. And it's a lot of historic sites there,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
I
yeah.
would
It's
love
very
to get a
yeah.
chance to.
There's so much. I mean, again, if someone comes to Toronto, they've never been to Toronto, they'd be like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." But because we live
Yeah,
here, it's like big
yeah.
deal. So
Well, I don't know, man. I think I would freak out a little bit more seeing like Big Ben and
yeah,
Buckingham
yeah,
Gates
yeah.
than oh my God, the CN Tower. It's
I
like
know, I know.
it,
There's a lot.
it's
There is a lot to do
yeah,
and shoot there in London because there's just so many little pockets, and
yeah,
it's fun. It's a good time. It was just good to just go somewhere.
yeah. Do you have family there
I
or
have
are
I have
you
I have a couple of friends. Like, I basically went there
okay?
because, like, my work was off for 2 weeks, and I just wanted to do something, so
Okay.
that was, like, the cheapest
Hey
flight.
man, vacation, right?
Yeah, just holiday, right? Just to get
Yeah,
out of just to get out for a
yeah.
week, so,
You need that sometimes. And it does it snow there or is it like
no, I was when
particularly
I was there,
cold?
it was like no, when I was there, it was, like, 5 to 7 degrees.
Okay. Yeah,
And it
so
hardly rained. It was, like, tropical,
yeah. Well,
compared to here.
as as tropical as
Tropical for them.
London gets,
Yeah,
I
basically.
guess.
What are you gonna do, right? But,
Exactly.
yeah, like, you don't I mean, I always of course, it's nice to go to different places, but, if you're stuck here, like, I would say to people, like, pick, like, a neighborhood you've never been to, or pick, like,
Mm,
even, like even, like, a freaking, like, intersection you've never been to, because you never know what you're going
yeah.
'cause you're gonna have the same kind of, like, curiosity because you haven't been there, so you're gonna see stuff
Yeah,
differently from people that are there every day,
exactly.
need that.
And it the just the space alone, like Ontario is a pretty freaking big place, man. Like
It's
if you
huge,
were
man.
to if you were
Huge.
to say explore all of Ontario, you'd find like
Forever. Forever.
I spoke to someone recently that was I don't he didn't even tell me the name of the place. It's so
Yeah.
obscure.
Yeah.
And he said it's like it takes longer
Yeah.
to get to where he is from Toronto
Yeah.
than it would from Toronto to Florida.
Yeah. Crazy,
And
man.
he's like, but I'm in Ontario. Like,
Yeah.
what part of Ontario
Where'd
are
you
you?
go,
Like,
man? Where'd you go?
it's yeah,
It's a big province, man. There's a lot to
it's
I
like a
don't think I don't
22-hour drive. He said,
Yeah.
22-hour drive. I was like, wow,
Yeah,
that's
I don't think I could be wrong, but I don't think Canada really promotes its own tourism well for its own people.
well, yeah, I could agree with
Like,
that. I
there's so
could
much to
agree
see
with
here,
that.
but you never really know
Yeah,
where to go. In Ontario, across Canada, like, I think there could be a better job done for, like, promoting tourism within your own country, because everyone wants to, like, leave Canada.
yeah.
Leave
Well,
Canada. There's so
I,
much more
I,
to do.
I think because everyone is so central minded, like if you go across the province, the bulk of the people gather in like the city centers, right?
Yeah.
So then there are these like far off places. Like I've been in Canada for what 27 years,
Mhm.
and it was like 4 years ago was the first time I ever went to Port Elgin.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
And
Same.
Port Elgin is a really nice place. I never even knew Port Elgin existed.
Yeah.
And just on a whim, they're like, "Oh, you should go to Port Elgin." I'm like, "All right,
Yeah.
let me go and see." And
Yeah,
I went there, and it's like, "Damn, this place is really nice."
yeah. You don't know what you don't know,
And
man, until
exactly,
you
and
know.
the drive there was nice. It's like
Yeah.
you see a lot of the countryside.
Mhm.
I always see these photographers that take like I want to say lily valleys, but they're not lily. It's like fields of is
Right.
it dandelions? The yellow
Yeah,
flowers.
like
Those
sunflowers?
yellow,
Sunflower?
yeah.
Yeah,
And it's like millions of them in a field.
I know.
And like
Killer shot.
where do they find these things?
Well, they're like a part of farms, and then
Yeah. So the
yeah,
drive to Port Elgin, it was like fields and
I
fields
know,
of yellow
I know.
flowers.
It's like
I'm
you're in
like,
a
well,
dream.
yeah, there you go. So
Crazy.
it's a nice place to explore. It's just
Yeah.
Like you said, if you don't know,
You don't
people
know. You
aren't
don't
gonna
know.
just.
You don't
You're
know.
not gonna just aimlessly. Oh, let me drive 22 hours to
Yeah.
go to, I don't know, Hudson Bay or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah. I hear there's a
who's gonna
mall up
do?
there.
You know?
Right? Well,
So, but if for example, you could see the northern lights
there you go.
from parts of Ontario,
Sure.
and that was, advertised. Now I don't have to go to the Yukon. I can
You
go
know
to
that?
there
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
and things like that, right? So,
Right. Promote it. Promote it to your own
yeah,
citizens because we don't know.
yeah,
We always want to go somewhere else.
exactly.
Because my friend,
Exactly.
my friend drove across Canada. He drove from Toronto to Vancouver. He saw some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
He didn't know.
I
He
could
just drove it.
I could imagine. And
Crazy stuff.
again, there's a lot of history here that's like just localized stuff. That's like, oh, this is where, I don't know, Harriet Tubman used to live in that house, and
Yeah,
you wouldn't know unless you lived in that
of course.
region, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm
So
saying. Like, you don't need to leave the country to see something awesome. Like, something could be in your own backyard or in like a neighboring city or town. It's just a matter of like the knowledge
yeah,
of it.
and like you said, if you don't know what
You
you
don't know.
don't know,
Yeah,
right?
I don't know.
And
Right. So yeah,
someone
there's a lot there.
some things some people have to tell you, right? It's not like you're gonna naturally know
No.
that there's a significance to, I don't know, Sioux Falls or whatever, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's I don't know. I just find it funny because like when my friend drove across the country, you just like I saw on his Instagram, he just saw some crazy stuff. I'm like, that's Canada? He goes, yeah, that's Canada. I go, wow. And then I thought, man, how come I don't know this? How come other people don't know this? And then it's like, you gotta promote it to your own people. Because it's one
Yeah.
of those things. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll try to solve that this year.
Well,
I'll have a feeling tag Canada
the
tours.
and it's funny because again, people will spend all this money to go to, Punta Cana
Yeah,
and
that's what I mean.
these other
Like,
places, and it's like it didn't cost well, it didn't really cost me anything to go to Port Elgin.
yeah, that's what I
It's
mean.
like a
It's just
tank of gas, maybe, but not much else.
yeah, like I don't know. I think plus that way you get like different. First of all, different experiences, and also like then from there different photographs because you're going to places that people haven't been to, and then you're
Yeah,
gonna tell your friend, your family, oh, I went to Port Elgin, go visit it, and then it's like Port Elgin, and you're like, yeah, Port Elgin, go check it out.
yeah.
Word of mouth kind of thing, but
Yeah, it's funny because when I just came here, and I haven't gone back since. I actually my family wants to go
yeah,
the Thousand Islands in
yeah,
Kingston. That I was blown away because
yeah,
I didn't think I always hear about the beaches and how they suck and there's
hmm
no beach in Canada because especially Ontario because it's like landlocked, right?
yeah,
And I went to visit relatives out in Kingston,
yeah,
and there's white sand beaches. I'm like,
yeah.
I thought you guys didn't have white sand. Where did this white sand come from? And,
I know, right?
it's freshwater beach, but
Yeah,
it's really nice. You know,
that's what I mean. Stuff like that, right? Like
yeah.
I find
And
it.
I again, if I had never gone to visit relatives and they brought me there, I probably would never think to go to
Never would have
Kingston
thought it. Of course.
and do that, right?
Yeah, I know, man. I agree. It's there's a lot to see and experience here. So
Yeah,
hopefully maybe you can do some more of that this year.
absolutely. Well, that's the plan, but like I said, we plan and uh, there's other plans in place, right? So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Hey, yeah,
Mhm.
that's all you can do, right?
Exactly.
Well, we're up against the hour. I don't want to keep you too long. So,
Yep.
do you have any advice for people that are just starting photography that you want to kind of give out, or
Um, actually, my advice is sort of your advice. I'm just gonna
okay,
sort of uh,
yeah,
reissue. It's just keep doing it, man.
yeah,
Don't think, oh. I need to set aside, because if you keep planning, you're never gonna get
Yeah,
to.
I agree. The
It's
planning
it's
stuff.
and it's like any muscle. You have to work it for it to get stronger.
Yeah,
And the more you do it, the better you're gonna get.
yeah,
It's like with anything, right?
yeah,
If you want to be a better cook, you're not gonna get better at cooking by reading about it. You got to do it.
yeah.
You got
Oh,
to
I
keep
agree with that.
cooking.
I think planning can really kind of paralyze you into like inaction.
And to kind of piggyback off of that, this is something my wife always tells
Yeah,
me. If you keep saying you're gonna do it, you're never gonna do it.
yeah,
You have to actually
yeah,
boots to the ground, one foot in front of the other. But
yeah,
it's like you psych yourself out by
yeah. You
saying,
totally.
"I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this." You're
Yeah,
trying to psych yourself up, but instead you psych yourself out because it's like, well, what
yeah,
if I do it and it doesn't work?
yeah,
But you keep
yeah.
planning, you keep planning, you
Yeah.
know.
I mean, it
So
happens, but also like you have to realize that you're gonna make mistakes and things will happen. But for me, like personally, I'd rather do it than not do it. Like I'd rather do this show than not do the show. But that's me.
absolutely,
I'd rather do it.
absolutely,
I'd rather say that I did it because I feel so good because I did it because it's so easy not to do it because no one's telling me to do it. Like there's no boss
exactly,
here telling me to do this. Like I'm just doing it because I want to do it. So
right.
if you have that kind of like mindset for yourself, saying, I want to, like, I'm doing it because I want to do it, not because I feel like I have to do it. I think there's a big difference there.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
So,
So yeah,
um,
that's my big takeaway from you and my message to
yeah,
whoever may listen. Just,
yeah, no, it's good, man.
you know, lace up the boots and go get it done. If
Yeah,
even to kind of adjust your advice a little bit, you say I'm going to do 10 times a week, do 10 times and
yeah,
capitalize on that. But
yeah,
just to keep exercising that muscle. So
100%. Yeah, and
for
I think you're,
starting out, right? Because the hardest thing to do is to start, right?
oh,
Everything else is
yeah,
pretty easy after
yeah,
that.
yeah. No, it's a good point, and I think you're a great example of that kind of approach because, you look on your Instagram, you look at where you're going, you know where you're headed with your
Mhm.
photography, so you just gotta keep plugging away. So I would love to have you back on maybe like later on this year and see what you're up to.
Okay. Well, now you're giving me homework to do because now if I'm going to
Yeah,
come back, I got to have proper stuff in it.
yeah, that's okay.
Yeah,
It's fine. I'm easy that way, but
absolutely.
I think there's
Yeah.
a lot more time back.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind being back. Absolutely. I would
Yeah,
definitely do this again.
yeah,
And again, thank you for having me.
my pleasure.
Um,
My pleasure.
I'm just trying a thing, and it's
Yeah. Is this your first podcast in life?
yeah. Actually, I've seen a lot of them. I've watched a couple of
Oh,
years.
but actually being in one.
No, I've never been on one
There you
before.
go. So now you say you've been on one.
And
There you go.
hopefully one of the two at
Yeah,
least,
no,
right?
it's happening. It's happening. It's happening,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, thanks again for taking the time, and everyone go check out Oswald at Frater Photography 416. And thanks for watching, listening, and we'll see you next week.
All righty, man.
Peace.
Be well. Take care.
Peace.